Okay, let's do this. So I'm still recording. Yes. So I'm gonna leave all that in. Hi, welcome to Binge Buddies, Toretto's shitty tuna sandwich. I'm your host, always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is my son pounding on the door.
That's an interesting nickname,
isn't it?
I've never heard of that car.
It's the worst intro ever. I'm gonna leave it all because it's for Too Fast, Too Furious. But we have Matt, Zombie Dog, Crosley Hotshot, Dykes.
I like that.
That's a good one.
Crosley Hotshot.
Yeah, from 1949.
Of course it is.
Yeah, sounds like a real winner, doesn't it? I already used those. We also have Joel. I'm gonna have to bleep this one, but I'm gonna keep it in because it's fucking hilarious. King Model the Third DeWitte.
Oh boy.
I'm definitely gonna have to bleep the middle of your name, but
so is it King Model or is it King Model?
oh, so many bleeps. Can we stop saying it?
Well, they say, like, is there a colon after or before? Or is there
Good luck, Brian. I'm not even going to play the game.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
I am.
No, it's just three solid words. The third. It's supposed to be
I love how there's a lineage to it too.
yeah, the third.
So is it the third, as in like they've written the third, or is it just like three
eyes? Yeah.
eyes? So it could just be King. I
mean, yes, it could be. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the third. But either way, we're done saying the name of that thing because I'm done using the bleep button. Although I'm sure that was very fun to listen to.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of apt considering yesterday. I mean, this is anyone who knows when this actually happened will now know what day we recorded. But yesterday, we did coronate King Charles III.
You did, and and fucking King
What
Charles
thrill.
is like, I need Katy Perry to play at my wedding.
I mean, I didn't watch it, so
Not
I
your
don't
wedding,
have a
you
clue.
old idiot. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun of your monarchy, but it just seems like.
I mean, I don't care. Like I said, I didn't watch any of it. I went out and did some shopping. I bought Evil Dead yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
The
wait,
original one on 4K Blu-ray.
Ooh. Have you seen the new one yet? I think you'll like it.
No, but I haven't actually seen the remake or
That one's okay.
reboot or whatever it is. Like, does this, because this one sort of follows on from that, right?
This one more so. This one more so goes. They all count. Like this one's like
Right,
they throw in a line that's like, if it's been an Evil Dead movie, it counts.
Yeah.
So you don't need to watch it, but it.
Prop. It's the prop that ties it all together.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into it later because I haven't even introduced everybody yet. I also haven't said Ryan Waterman Aerobile Lootens.
You know?
Are you gonna have to bleep Waterman as well? Because...
No, that one's staying.
I prefer Water Boy, but that's okay.
No joke. I just showed Chewy that movie like a week ago because she had never seen it. We watched The Craft one night, and then she's like, "I never saw Waterboy." I'm like, "Is that the only two movies you know Fairuza Balk from?"
The only two that matter.
How's she not seen Waterboy though? Like, I thought everyone
died.
I also have not
Like,
seen
you need
Waterboy.
some water.
Yeah. Waterboy for a long time was the highest grossing sports movie. Like, just let that sink in. The movie with Henry Winker singing "Water sucks. It really, really sucks."
I nearly choked on water then.
We have come full circle.
We have. That's everybody, right? I finally got around to introducing everybody, including my son who pounded on the door that I didn't answer, and he's not pounding anymore. So I hope someone helped him. It wasn't any.
Find out.
I just didn't do my job as a dad. But we're here to talk about one of the greatest titled movies in the history of movie titles. One of the most misguided sequels in the history of misguided sequels. This movie is ridiculous, and I have really, really grown to love it over the years. I still don't think it's very good. It'll still probably be either last or second to last in my rankings, but here we are with Too Fast, Too Furious.
I mean, I'll have
Well,
to
they're
disagree that
numbers.
it's
They
not
are
the
numbers.
best. It's not the best titled film ever. That goes to The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
I mean, that one's also pretty good. But then you also have the best titled sequel ever of Electric Boogaloo. You don't get much better than Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, because fuck, man, that's just someone got paid to write that, and that's just amazing.
But it was a canon film, so
oh man, I've never actually seen Breaking 2 with the sound on, but I've watched it on mute 3 times. I don't know why it's worked out that way, but it has, and now I don't want it to ever change.
What's the context of that?
It's one of those things. I had to leave it on in the background of a movie I made once because we wanted some movie in the background, so I just left it on. And then about halfway through shooting, because it's me and my friends, we just kind of sat down and watched it, just continued to watch it on mute. And then situations like that continued to happen because it was always funny to have on in the background on mute, and then we always just found ourselves watching it. Yeah, it's a great movie. I highly recommend watching it
without sound.
Yeah, specifically without sound. Just making up your own plot to it is probably better than whatever the fuck the plot was.
Maybe we should do like a watch where we watch it with no sound and we just make up our own ideas of like what they're saying.
I've done it 3 times. It's a lot of fun. But I feel like we're avoiding the topic at hand today. We have to talk about Too Fast, Too Furious. Vin Diesel sat this one out, I think, to go film Triple X, which is I get it. He's working with Rob Cohen, who gave him, Fast and Furious. Definitely the lesser of the 2 franchises. I've seen all 3 of the Triple X movies. They all suck. I've seen all 9 of the Fast and Furious movies, at least the numbered ones. I still haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw for some reason. That movie just doesn't grab me. And they're all better than all the Triple X movies. So there's my take on it. Too Fast, Too Furious is the only one that I did not see in theaters. For some reason, I just never got around to seeing this one. I even saw Tokyo Drift for some reason. Oh, no. No, I've seen that one in theaters now. I didn't see it when it was out in theaters, but I've watched it in a theater since then. But I've never seen 2 in a theater. I still like it though. I don't love 2, but I can watch it. I think Joel said in our chat, it feels like a Sunday on TBS sort of movie, and I can watch with the same sort of vibes. And I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I love Tyrese in this movie. Like, I legitimately love Tyrese in this movie. And I think his chemistry with Paul Walker is fucking great. Yep. That's my take on this thing, having watched this thing way too many times. But Ryan, we're gonna stay at the same order from last week. How do you feel on this thing?
This movie sucks. It is a terrible, god-awful, horseshit pile of a movie. But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it shouldn't be fun. And watching it, like and it's weird though, because like whenever I think about this movie, I'm like, it's so bad. Like, the acting is bad, the writing is bad. John Singleton, I'm sorry, this is not your best movie, and you gave us, Boys or Menace to Society, right?
Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society.
Yeah, either way.
He did that Shaft film as well.
Shaft, yeah, he did Shaft.
Yeah, he did Shaft.
One of the 3 films called Shaft.
But, it's, to me, he did Boys in the Hood, and Higher Learning. That was the other one I was going for. That's a good one. But it's just, there's no action to it. Like, you think Fast and Furious, you hardly get anything. You have like 2 races and your big action sequence at the end. So, it definitely takes away from the movie, and just some of the acting, like, Devin, however you say her last name, Aoki, she is, every time she's on screen, I grimace. She's beautiful to look at, but man, she can't act her way out of the box. And
she's good in Sin City. I think
that's because she doesn't talk.
Yeah, I think maybe it's to do with the dialogue that she has to spew, because I literally, like, one of my notes is
the
like,
writing is terrible.
I feel so sorry for what she has to say. Like, oh, spank my ass. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
spank that ass.
Whatever.
Yes. Either way, Tyrese though is very charming in this movie. He is great. It definitely lends itself to his character in the next one. And for me, Cole Hauser, I love Cole Hauser. I love him as Rip in Yellowstone. Yes, this is the same Rip. That's Yellowstone. But Front Row Flashbacks is going to be talking about my favorite movie, which is Dazed and Confused, or one of my favorite movies, and he's in that. He's a decent actor, and him as a villain is very kind of menacing, and that's just to watch him be in the movie, that made it worth something. But everything else is just horseshit.
How do you not mention Eva Mendes?
Because she's horseshit.
I had fun with her.
What does she do? Thank you. I rest my case. Moving on.
She
She
recruits.
stands there and looks beautiful, and she
I didn't say she wasn't
nails
pretty
that.
because Lord knows she is pretty.
She does the introduction.
Flaming
Like
hot, man.
The whole reason the film is existing is because she's there.
Yeah. Although, I mean,
as a background character, then fine. I don't think she deserves top billing like she got.
okay, I'll agree with that. Like,
But it's Eva Mendes.
It's Eva Mendes.
I don't give a shit. Horse shit. Horse shit is horse shit. Polish a turd, it's still a
She
turd.
married Ryan Gosling. That's, worth higher billing.
That's okay. That Pine movie was great, or whatever they met, wherever they met. That was a good movie.
She's good in Training Day too.
She was good in Training Day.
That's because she was naked.
Yeah, she was good at that
too. She was good at that too, but I was meaning more like just her actual acting.
I gotta say though, if I'm gonna watch somebody pop their shirt off though, I'd rather watch Tyrese. Like, man,
yeah,
that's a good looking shirtless man. Whoo!
Yeah.
But Matt, and Joel, where are you guys on this thing? Let's before we lose myself down the rabbit hole of shirtless Tyrese.
First we talked about your shower. Now we're talking about shirtless Tyrese.
I need to get back in that shower. Anyhow, Matt, Joel, how do you guys feel about Too Fast, Too Furious?
Joel, do you want to go first?
No, you went first last time, so
you should go first this time.
Help.
Courtesy Wars end. Go, Matt.
All right. Too polite. I'm British. We are polite. I enjoyed it. I actually did enjoy it. I enjoyed this one more than the first one, and I think I don't have a lot of the nostalgia attached to the first one. So for me, like the first one took itself too seriously. Really, it was. Like the characters were just like, they were all very kind of like, I'm serious, blah, 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 blah. Everything I say is incredibly impactful and meaningful, even though the dialogue was corny as fuck. In this one, it looks like they kind of know the film they're making now. They know that it's a fun, dumb action film, and they kind of revel in that, like line delivery and stuff like that. And like it's funny, like last week we talked about Miami Vice quite a bit. I got serious Miami Vice vibes from this one.
Yeah. Well,
is that because it's in Miami?
Well, no, not just because of the Miami setting. It also, you've got the kind of like, you've got the buddy partnership, which is very much more like of that sort of buddy cop mentality of the series. You've got the sort of the drug dealer guy. Wait, was he a drug dealer? He was a drug dealer, right?
We don't even know what he does. They just said he's import export. That's it.
Yeah, well, I took that as drugs. So you got this sort of this drug baron, drug lord kind of element to it as well. And there's neon fucking everywhere as well. Like so much neon, and like
it really is.
But I liked it. It was fun. It was it didn't. Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun film to watch. There wasn't as much. Like, the dialogue's terrible in it, but it wasn't delivered in a, they weren't trying to be
serious.
Yes, it's not serious. Isn't the word I'm thinking of though? Like, I'm fucking terrible at this. I need a dictionary or a thesaurus or something. Basically, like,
first movie's played very straight.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the fucking word. Move on. I'll think of it, and I'll just halfway through the podcast, I'll randomly just go.
So,
Joel, where'd you land?
I mean, it's fine. You kind of took my summary pretty much is that it's a movie I would watch on a Sunday afternoon after a heavy night of training.
Yeah,
it is. I liked this one less for the exact same reason that Matt likes it more. In that it gets a little too zany from a escalation standpoint, which it sounds like it's going to get even crazier as the series goes on. So at least this has sort of set my expectations a little bit. There's a lot of fun to be had in this movie. If you don't take it seriously, if you're not concerned about it as a film, then there's just a lot of cool moments. And I'll echo what you guys said. Tyrese is the perfect duo for that kind of buddy cop scenery. It's just that I think part of what makes it a lesser is the fact that the original crew is not here. Because you kind of want to see story wise where that branches out from. Now the logic they use for this movie makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
Bryan, it's very ambiguous where the last movie leaves off for Bryan, and the idea that he'd run away and go across the country to live somewhere else and live underground and use the stills makes total sense.
Yeah, that all worked, I think, really well. But the thing that I find the most interesting about your complaint with this movie, and I want to see what Ryan thinks about this too, is the whole like that we lose the original crew in this movie is only a problem to me your first time through. Because to me, Tyrese is part of the crew. Like he is very much a full-blown member of this crew because I've seen the later movies and they would not feel the same without Tyrese. Like that he is so integral to this. So going back and watching this, it's less of the crew, but it still feels very, very much them because
they lose that original crew, as it were, but they replace them with, someone like Tyrese, who is fucking great in this. Like he's so good. Like every time he's on, I look the chemistry between, like Paul Walker and Tyrese in this is brilliant. It, like I said, it felt very reminiscent of the sort of like the buddy cop. Elements, like like it's up there with for me, like with the great buddy cop films of like you Lethal, like the chemistry. I mean, anyway, not the actual film itself. To be very clear,
compare this to Lethal Weapon?
No. To be very clear, I mean the chemistry is up there with like Lethal Weapon, 48 Hours, Bad Boys. That kind of the chemistry between the two leads. It's spot on.
So why this worked for me the second time around, and why I saw past how shitty of a film this is just how it ties into everything.
Yeah.
Tyrese plays a huge role coming up post 4. And it's very nostalgic to watch. And when you grow to love these movies, because you do, especially after 5, when these actually become big things.
Especially after 4, when these become big things.
So I quit trying to sell 4. No, but like you sit there and just that dialogue between them about how they were talking about how Tyrese went to jail and how that's why Bryan let Dom go. It's because he felt bad for Tyrese, and that makes total sense. And then you talk about the lack of Vin Diesel. They definitely they shot a prequel to this where it just shows Bryan on the run. There's literally no dialogue. It's just him driving cars, and it shows how he gets the car that he has at the start of this movie, but it's just him on the run from San Francisco. So that really ties into things. But when you sit and look at it, when you watch it first, you're just like, oh god, this movie is just so bad. But then when you watch it and treat it like the whole, it's good fun.
Yeah, I want to add the asterisk of that statement in that I think by the time you get through the way through the movie, you sort of accept this for what it is and let those characters sit on the side and understand. Like, to me, this is a side story to the overall story. And it's a mixture of the tone, the setting, the relationship that Bryan and Roman have during this movie. They're completely different dynamics. I mean, Bryan and Dom, it was almost like two opposing forces kind of having push and pull. And this one, it is a begrudging friendship. And once you accept it, it becomes much more fun to watch.
Well, that, and then the one thing that we mentioned either, but which we should, is because he shows up the same time as Tyrese, and he's just as important to the crew, and he's in this as Luda. Yep. Tej is a major character in this thing. And like Tej and Roman are like best of buds. Like they get along so well, and they meet in this movie. Like that's where their friendship starts.
Mm-hmm. See, and like too, like with this too, this definitely, because Tej becomes like this big almost mastermind of how when things get planned out. But in this one, you just think like he's just like a guy who owns a dealership. He's just a successful dude. But then when you know his characterization in the later films and you go back and watch this, he's definitely methodical in what he does. Like,
oh yeah,
he's definitely got that mastermind attitude, especially with that final chase and getting all those cars together to do that, like, chase. you know,
really
or
cool
that,
sequence.
I mean, that was, you know, that's genius. And I think that was all Tej, you know, and this, again, the series does a great job of bridging the gaps, you know, from this one to the second one, you have Agent Bilkins come back. So like, he's the one that's kind of chasing Bryan down. So that was the bridge to the first one. He's never seen again, but you know, there is a character in law enforcement in this movie that you see later on. And she has a huge impact to lay the groundwork for, I think it's 6.
6, yeah.
It's at the end of 5. So
Yep.
good things come. So they're doing a good job, but you know, wasted things here have great prevalence later.
What
Yeah,
I liked how they handle Tej, he's a hustler, but like not a poorly, like a bad intentioned hustler.
Yeah.
Like he's the sort of friendly, Rainman?
Ringleader?
No, ringleader. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sort of positive characterization helps him a lot, and it keeps him a good character to round them out.
I need to take a very brief pause just because Ryan said something that I need to bring up. I almost brought it up last week and then I forgot, so I need to bring it up now. When I was looking at the description of this on Wikipedia for Fast and Furious, the first one, they mentioned all the characters. In the end, they mentioned all the police officers, and they say like the movie is rounded out by, and they name all the characters. The last one they named was Bilkins, and the first time I read this, I read it as bikinis. And I didn't even bat an eye on it. I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Like, yeah, side characters bikinis.
They are prevalent.
They really are.
Bikinis and ass grabs.
Yeah.
Plenty of ass grabs.
Sergeant Bikini, get over here.
One of those, like,
Thank you.
never even thought, like, it took me like almost 20 minutes in the episode. I'm like, oh, it said Bilkins. I didn't even bat an eye on it. It just it made sense. Sorry,
Agent
completely
Bikini,
derailed.
he's back in this.
But anyhow, so yeah, like this movie does a lot of we mentioned earlier, like it sets a lot of things up that Justin Lin and company look at, and they're like, all right, what can we use from this movie to almost make this movie better? So your first time going through it, it's a piece of shit. It never changes from being a piece of shit. It's still, honestly, until Ryan said it earlier in this episode, I've seen this movie a lot. I've never clued into the fact that we don't know what Cole Hauser's character does.
Yeah,
I've always just known he was bad guy who did bad thing. I never even once thought about what he did. So I guess more props to John Singleton. Like, you did it. I had no clue what he did.
I mean,
Is
I
it
just
John
fucking
Singleton
made up
or
what he
Cole
did.
Hauser's acting.
Yeah.
I just made up what he did as well. I was like, Miami, it must be a drug dealer.
Yeah, it must be a drug dealer. There's a boat involved. That sounds like drugs. I don't know.
The inference is strong in
There's
this
lots
one.
of cash. Like, you know, what's
Yeah.
a cash business? I do find it really weird, though, that, like, the whole thing is, like, he has to get all of his cash out of this one trailer, which is now under surveillance. It's like, well, why
that
did you
they've
put
been
it there in
watching
the
the
first
whole
place?
time.
Yeah, why did you put it there in the first place? And why did they not arrest you when you were there putting it all there?
Again,
It makes no
things
sense.
that don't make sense.
Makes
in
no
this
sense,
movie.
Like the next movie where they have to do like a heist stealing thing, that's in part 5. They do their homework for that one. It works much better. They also invite Wonder Woman, which helps, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her to show up. I love Gal Gadot in these movies.
Good.
But so this thing, the thing that it does well is very similar to what the first movie did well, and that is the stunt work and the chases. There's not as many in this, which is a bummer. But those things still work really well. So I'm gonna kind of save those for just a little bit later on in the episode. The one thing that I do, like, I think part of the reason why John Singleton was hired, I think he did his job well. And that was, he kind of did what Rob Cohen did in the first movie, whereas you take these characters, you make them larger than life, but you also make them believable that they would be friends and work with each other. And when you look at a character like a director like John Singleton, who did movies like Boys in the Hood, where you take very unlikable characters, but you make them larger than life and you make them in this kind of underground criminal world, but you make them relatable and lovable. I think that's why John Singleton got this job, because he did the same thing here. Like, we have people who, everyone in this movie is a criminal, like, except for the people who are carrying badges. Everyone's a criminal to some degree, but it doesn't bother you at all. They all seem like lovable people you'd want to hang out with. It just seems like they got a bad shake. Like,
Yeah, and you
Brian
end
is a
up-
criminal because he quit being a cop, but he quit being a cop because he helped someone, and he helped
Yeah.
someone because he felt bad about not helping someone else. Like, they really ground it in this like relatable, attachable way.
And you get that sort of like this feeling of like the cops in this are unlikable. Like,
Yeah.
You have James Remar's character, who I can't remember. He was like the main
Markham.
customs
Milk
guy.
or something. Maybe
Markham.
bikinis, Bill, something, whatever.
Markham.
Markham. Not bikinis.
Yeah. So you get him, and he's like constantly like, oh, they're running away. Like constantly like, dude, fuck off. You're going to get them killed. They're
So
undercover.
over the top.
And and that's the thing, like, you have these characters who, like, in most films, people of like law enforcement are supposed to be the good guys because, like, the morality tales, essentially. The idea is good versus evil, air quotes, like, and the good guy has to win. Whereas in this one, it's kind of flipping that a little bit, where it's making like, yeah, you've got these bad guys, but then you got this guy who's even worse than these bad guys. So these bad guys are actually not that bad, and then you've got the supposed good guys who are just assholes and want to screw over the bad guys to get the even worse bad guy. So it's kind of like this weird kind of thing of like, okay, so these bad guys are actually protagonists, and this good guy and this really bad guy are antagonists, because it's like it's that difference. Like Venture Brothers talks about this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, good guys and bad guys, antagonist, protagonist. Yeah. There's a difference there. There is a difference because, like, you can have a bad guy that's the protagonist, and you can have a good guy that's the antagonist. It's like not always that. It depends what story you're telling. And I think they did a kind of a good job with that idea of, well, these are criminals, but they're not bad people, really. Yeah. Like, in the grand scheme of things, they have done quote unquote bad things according to the law, but actually they're decent people who are trying to, they're trying to make something of their lives in some way. Like, they're not just wanting to waste their lives away. They're doing what they love doing, and sometimes what they love doing, they have to break a few laws to do it.
I think
no one is getting hurt.
I think the audience can sort of understand the relativism of the crimes, right? Because you think about Bryan and Roman's crimes, it's mostly like, I'm drag racing
and speeding,
and mostly causing,
essentially, speeding
right.
Is the
and
worst
there's
thing to do.
If you go so fast, it's a higher penalty, right? But
I mean, these cars go to warp. I mean, Christ Almighty! Like, some of the effects is like, he like hits the button, it's like, holy shit! Has he just gone, warp, helm, warp one, engage?
Ludicrous speed.
But I see what you did there.
but even in the first movie, the cops, I feel like the cops were sort of worse people in the first movie. A lot of the motivation side, and even Bryan, like, his motivation is basically, I want to be a sergeant, get my badge for a higher position. And this one, the way that Agent Bilkins is almost like, he is the more helpful police officer, more sympathetic this round, and the other police officers are sort of dangling the fruit as also an axe over their head as a potential risk. So you see this sort of like relativism and different shades of good and bad there too, and I think that's one of the things that works well here.
I like when you said, like, you talked about dangling the axe over the head. It's like, if you don't do this for us, we're gonna throw you in jail. And it's like, but if you do this for us, we're gonna constantly keep fucking up. So you almost get caught out of being undercover as well and get killed because we don't trust you at all.
There's a line that Tyrese says, it's, so we either do this and go to jail, or we stay undercover and get shot.
Yeah.
So, right. I mean, that, there's moments in there where you really feel like they literally have no choice.
Yeah. And I love that moment, because that's when, like, Bryan is like, I think we need to come up with an exit strategy. It's just like,
call Taj.
We're getting fucked. Let's figure a way out of this. Like, I like that stuff. I mean, that's where it kind of turns into more of like a fun movie. Yes. But like where the fun stuff really shows up is then when you get to the racing. Like, the racing in this movie, there are some cartoon cars that get a little bit ridiculous, but for the most part, it's really fun to watch. Like, there's there's the race where Bryan shows up. That race is great with the bridge jump at the end. You have the
race for the muscle cars.
The relay race.
There's the one before that though, where they have to get the
that's where they get the cigar, and then there's really four, right?
The relay race, and then the end.
Yeah. Like, all four of them are distinctly different. Like they all kind of like, it's not like we're just
Mhm.
going to repeat the same races over and over, which I think the whole franchise is really good about. Like they don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over. But I think all of them are fun. Like they all work as well as the one before. Like my favorite one's probably the relay race, because that sequence is just fantastic. I love that they start that race out with, we'll get to it in our favorite moments here in a minute, but like we're gonna lose. We cannot beat those cars. Like we
Yeah.
have to get creative. And like I like that this movie is smart enough to say that. Like, look at
Mhm.
those fucking things. There's no way our cars are faster than those. We're driving hair dryers. Like
I like how they do it as well, because it's like you got that sort of that tension build of like, oh shit, the other car that's like, you know, even faster has got off the line first as well, because Tyrese is a bit slower because he spun it or whatever. I can't remember exactly what he did. So then it's like, well, hang on a minute, how is he gonna actually catch up to him? And then they do that really good thing with the chicken.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how he's gonna screw it up, because he's gonna pull, he spins out, and it makes sense.
Well,
Like then that's how he's actually done it, because it's like, oh, it's very kind of clever, because like
It's
normally it's like, well, those cars are gonna kill us, but we're the better drivers. Like at the end of the day, a drag race, like if you're in a Ford Fiesta and you're going up against a Ferrari Ferrari F56 million or whatever the hell.
We're car people on this show.
I don't know cars. I don't know cars.
You're
You know,
like the guy drinking the soda, and he goes, which engine's better, the Gallo 22 or the Gallo 25?
Yeah, that's me.
I'm gonna say the 22. Yeah, I didn't know pizza joints joined the pizza joint.
That's me. That is actually me. But my point is, like, you know, if you have a drag race, at the end of the day, there's a little bit of skill involved, but you're just driving in a straight line. Like,
I mean, there's
the car
definitely
with the fastest car is going to win in a drag race.
Well, as long as the drivers know what they're doing, yes. But like that was kind of the point here, is they're both very well accomplished drivers. And you have that great moment with Tyrese where he's like revving the engine, you get the and it just looks at the other guy. It's like,
yeah,
and he's like, shit.
I think I think what I love about this race is that
Chihuahua.
Brian's playing dirty, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, straight race, right? And they got to come up with a plan, but he is playing dirty by playing chicken with him because he wants him to run off the road. And it's because you are rooting for Brian that you're like, yeah, fucking go. Like,
yeah.
I'm fair, the other guy played dirty too. He knocked the sign into Roman's
Like
car,
the sign
right?
in front of Roman.
True.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. But like, it does a good job of that kind of the idea of it's a street race as well. Like, there's not really any rules. Just because, like, you know, in a Formula One or NASCAR or whatever, you know, I'm a car guy. I know car races, like those kind of things. That if you do anything like that, though, you'd be disqualified because it's unsportsmanlike. You know, but there's no sort of like sportsmanship in these street races because there's no rules, essentially. I mean, like, Christ, he could have pulled out a shotgun and started shooting and probably would have been fine.
They got excited about it. Like, when Brian pulls in front of him to play chicken, he's like, oh, ballsy move, kid. Let's see if he, like, like he gets excited by him playing dirty.
Yeah.
So, like, it really makes that, like, I think that race is probably the best part of the movie, but like, because of that stuff, like, they make it a lot of fun. It's also, like, the least flashy out of the whole movie. So that might have something to do with it, too.
And it emphasized kind of the brain
shot well.
brawn situation too, right? Because
100%.
muscle cars, powerful stuff on paper, but because of their dial, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really like the last race, but it's not really a race. It's more of just kind of a chase, but it's fun. Like, I like everything about, like, just all of the police officers, like, going after them. It felt very Blues Brothers-esque to me. Like, just like every police officer in the state is going after them. And then with, like, just the switch, because the movie was very smart about, like, we're coming up with an exit strategy, and they don't give us even a clue of what it is. So when they pull into that warehouse and all of the cars start flying out, like, it's like, oh, they had a really good plan. It's crazy. Someone's going to get arrested. Probably the people opening the doors if they don't hop into cars. Like,
I did think that. It's like, hang on a minute, how many of these people are just going to get arrested as an accessory to this? Because it's like they're just there opening the doors, unless they jumped in cars themselves.
I hope they did. We didn't see that shot though, because otherwise, those guys are fucked.
What I liked about that as well is it's like when they they did a very quick, like, you knew it was coming because the whole point of that, the relay race was to get those muscle cars. So you knew they were going to switch cars.
Yeah.
But I like how they did that as well. And it's like, it's not super obvious because they don't actually show the muscle cars leaving in like any sort of like close up or something. And then like all the shots of the two cars that they went in with driving after that, you can't see the drivers. And it's very kind of like, you know, the way they shot it, like, you know that they're not in it, but it also, it's that kind of like, and then when you just have like, you know, pulls over and then it's ludicrous and he's like, sorry, officer, was I speeding or whatever his line is.
But it's that are my tags that out of date? Like,
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But like even that sequence is done so well because it's exactly what you said, Matt, where like, yeah, you know they're not in that car. You don't know who's driving, so that's gonna be a bit of a treat whenever you see who it is. But it's that moment that a lot of movies try to do. Some do it well, some don't, where they let the audience be ahead of the movie just a little bit, but not in a point that it's spoiling anything. Like, because what's happening is still so fun that you're enjoying it, and you're not like, just get to the thing I already know is gonna happen. Like
your excitement, your knowledge of knowing that they're not in those cars, it adds to the excitement.
Yeah,
because like, oh, this is great. This because they're gonna pull them over and they're like, oh shit, you're not who we were looking for.
Yeah, it's that thing where it makes you feel like you're part of the plan. Like it's not something that not every movie can pull off. Sometimes it gets annoying of like, I know they're not there. Can we just get to just move on? And this movie smartly avoids that. And I think as much as we can shit on this movie and say it's a piece of shit, like we do still have John Singleton at the helm, and you can see like, oh, there is a quality director here. He's just not crushing it per se.
This is not.
I think what works.
Yeah,
I think what works in that idea as well of like, you know, we know something, you know, the audience know that they're not in the cars. It's not sort of like trying to necessarily make us believe that they're in the cars still. Like the way that it's shooting and so like that. But also it doesn't stretch it out over like 10 minutes or something. It sort of like it gives you a little bit of a, oh, there's the car, there goes the cars. It's like, are they in them? Are they not? It's like, well, no, they're not. But it does, and it's over really quickly. It doesn't try and draw it out into this long sort of like trying to build up tension. You know, the John Singleton's smart enough to know, like, you know, what film he's making, he's smart enough to know that people are going to figure out very easily that, well, they're not in those cars because why did they get those cars earlier on for their exit strategy or the exit plan or whatever it was that they actually, however they word it. And then we're in that right now. The exit plan is all these cars coming out of that TARDIS warehouse because my God, that warehouse was not big enough to have that many cars in it.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I looked at it, it's like they opens up and they're all coming out and it's like, oh, there's a few there. It's like, there's more. There's more. There's more.
Yeah.
And it just kept going and going. And some of those cars are big fucking, like the big 4x4s that come out. The first is like,
oh, I love
that
moment.
Drives over the top.
I love that moment. Just whoever got that job had a good day, although they definitely got arrested because those cars didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna get arrested for fucking up some police cars.
Oh yeah, you're doing actual damage. Like even if you don't get tied into being an accessory for whatever the hell else is going on, you're still gonna ram police cars. You're in trouble. But you know, thanks, buddy.
You're getting jail time for this because they are not gonna go easy on you.
Right. Who's got priors? All right, whoever didn't raise their hand, I have a job for you. By the way, after this, we're gonna have priors. All right, is there anything that we haven't really hit in this thing? Oh, the one thing that I feel as I'm saying that we didn't hit, I got to talk just a little bit about the race to get the cigar, because that's really the only thing that kind of felt like it was harkening back to the first movie, like by having that freeway chase. And freeway chases are the bread and butter of this franchise moving forward. Like we get less and less drag races as this thing goes on, and it's more stuff on freeways like we got at the end of this thing or in the beginning of this thing. And I gotta say they're a lot of fun to watch. This one in particular is one of my favorite in the movies. Like I'm sure when we get to the wrap up, the top 10 chases will be coming out. Top 10 races will be on there. This highway one might be in it for me. It might not. But I like it because they show. It's odd. I like it because
I saw that too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll explain later.
But I like is that they show it not work out for everyone. Like the last movie, like beyond Vince getting stuck in the front of the truck getting shot at, everything went pretty fine. Whereas this one, that dude gets run over by a semi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
That's my favorite moment. That's my moment.
Red car guy is dead then because
Yes.
He's donezo.
he's
mush.
hamburger meat at that
Yeah.
point. Like
Oh.
that is a big like the wheels goes right over.
The shot of him just looking at the tires like in the window is just like, oh, that sucks.
I was half expecting like an A-Team-esque thing where he's like he crawls out of the wreckage and just like dusts himself down or something, but nope. They didn't even put that in as a joke. He's dead.
Yeah,
He's
dead.
dead.
He's and that's the thing in this franchise, that sort of thing. Yeah, you can walk away from that, but this guy didn't. Like he doesn't have any plot armor on. Like
I was
he
gonna
didn't
say
have
he's
plot
not a
armor.
main character.
Yeah.
Like, if that had been Vin Diesel, he could have had the tire literally. You could have seen it smack him in the face. Just still be fine.
Wait till the end of 6. He should be fucking dead, and he walks out of a world-size explosion just like this. Oh, my shoulder hurts. Ow.
I mean, he walked out of a muscle car flipping at like 130 miles an hour and then hitting the surface, going, my shoulder in the first one.
That'd be
not how I planned that.
Yeah, not how you plan that. That'd be the equivalent to him stubbing a toe by the stuff he survived later on. Oh man, these movies get nuts. Do you think the boat jump at the end of this movie is a crazy stunt?
My favorite thing
My
about
God.
the boat jump is like the preceding shots, they're quite clearly a lot further away from any land mass. It's like, hang on a minute, how far did that car jump?
Kelly described that as jumping the shark, and now I'm very interested to see what's next.
I'm excited for Kelly to see 7. If you think jumping from land to boat is good, wait till they bring buildings. Because whoa.
wait till they travel up.
Oh yeah, 9 they go way higher.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fun franchise.
It's like a Creed song.
I think that's the thing to when we're looking at these films, they're not like high drama. They are literally adrenaline films, the action adrenaline films. And I think that's the thing. Like you go, like they always say, go big or go home. And it's the idea of like, we got to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And like, there can be that bit of your head going, oh, this isn't very realistic. But then, we'll also watch films about wizards with swords that have lasers in them and stuff like that, and be like, oh, that's perfectly understandable. So I think,
so
what are you training your brain? Like, what are you turning that bit of your brain off for? And if you are not willing to do that for these films, then you are the wrong person to be watching them.
So it sounds like you're ready to watch them race a submarine.
Yeah, sure.
It's coming. That's an 8. It's coming. Will that submarine fire torpedoes at them? It might.
Now I'm just thinking of the submarine in Resident Evil 5, was it?
Was it in 5?
I think it was at the end of 5.
That sounds right, yeah.
The submarine just comes up like randomly. You're like, there's a submarine here. Where did this come from? What is this all about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's this franchise we just got to get through 3 and 4 is a good movie, God damn it! But we have to get through 3 and 4, and then shit gets crazy. But 4 is still good. Ryan is wrong.
I'm trying to make fetch happen, Gretchen.
I kind of feel like I'm going to fall down on Brian's side a bit more on this because we tend to agree on stuff.
We do usually
more, so I feel like I might enjoy 4.
I think you'll like 4 the way that I do. It moves the needle enough that I enjoy it. Is it a great movie? I don't know.
The action is the step above. There's more high stakes action.
Yeah. I watched 4 and I was like, okay, you guys are riding the ship. I'm excited for 5. That's where I ended with 4. But we'll get there in 2 weeks because that will be like the last one we record before our break is up. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's do favorite moments in this thing. Although I think we've kind of hit a bunch of them, but we're just going to reiterate them. I think I have 2 for this: Too Fast, Too Furious. But I'm gonna let Ryan go first because I just beat up on Ryan for not liking 4. But I'll let him go first.
Okay, so my favorite line is when they go to the Pearl, the club, and Tyrese goes, oh man, it's a oasis. I just love it. It's a oasis, like Oasis. It's I don't know.
I think he's a big Luda fan.
I laughed quite a bit. And then my favorite moment is when the cops are moving on the house, and well, it's two moments I should say, because I have to say something that's pretty intense for this movie, but is when he gets the truck to go drive into the police cars and he's all proud of himself. He's like, that's pure Tyrese, and I love it.
So
Everything about that. But I also like just the villainization of Cole Hauser's character when he is torturing the cop. Pretty intense moment for a lighthearted action movie. So, but yeah,
it's a good moment. All right, so my favorite quote in this thing, we kind of joked about it earlier, but I had to write it down because it was so good. And it's when Luda gets pulled over when he's pretending to be Paul Walker and Tyrese. He gets out of his car and goes, fellas, I know my tags are out of date, but damn. It's just such a good line, and Luda delivers it so insanely well. But my favorite moment, I'm kind of take a page out of Ryan's book. I'm going for more of a dramatic one because I really liked it. And it's a follow-up to this the cigar chase when the cop shows up and Tyrese pops out of the car and just starts shooting at him.
Yeah, that was
it's a
good.
really good moment, but it's the scene later with the cops where the one cop is pissed that he fired a gun at him, and he's like, if I didn't, my cover would be blown.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love that moment of calling the cop out, and like Bryan does it like, I'm carrying two, motherfucker. He picks up his gun, he's like, if Rome wanted to hit you, you'd been shot, and puts his gun down. Like,
and one thing I think that moment does really well is that you can tell he's not trying to kill them. He's just trying to keep them away so they can get out of there.
Yeah, because he's shooting at like the engine block and the lights. He's not shooting anywhere.
He's shooting where you can see that he shot at them. Like he's not clearly missing. Like it's a very smart moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Joel or Matt, whoever's up.
So I think the relay race has to be my top moment. It's just a very thrilling race. There's a lot of good tension. The chicken moment's really great. Tyrese being so flamboyantly confident is a lot of fun in that sequence. I think it has to be that. Yeah,
it's great. Did you have a line too or no?
I did, but it slipped my mind, so we can move on.
It's not Oasis.
No, it's not Oasis. Okay. I got it. It's not a line. It's another moment when they are getting to Roman at the Destruction Derby, and Paul Walker says, like, whatever you do, don't intervene, to Agent Bilkins, and they get in the lamest fight ever. While Agent Bilkins is just in there eating popcorn, and Brian's just saying, "You still suck at fight."
Yes. Yeah.
I like that as always. Like, you ain't got a badge? No, you ain't got a badge. Really? No badge. And it's like,
you're fighting.
And Bilkins' line as he's walking away, here we go.
I mean, like, moment wise, I'm up there with Joel. The relay race is so great. It's shot so well, and like you said, it's each one of the races, they have a very distinct look. Like the first one's very kind of like stylized, and you got a lot of wide shots and things like that. Whereas the relay race, it's kind of close in, but at the same time, it's also, you can also tell what's going on. This is pre, that point where they start sticking cameras really close up in car chases and like fast cutting, and you can't tell what the fuck is going on. Like Born Supremacy, it's a good film. I enjoy it, but that car chase at the end, it took me 3-4 times watching that before I figured out what the fuck was actually going on, because 1 minute he's being chased by him, then he's in front, then he's chasing him, and then all of a sudden he's ramming into. It's just like the editing on these, like you understand the geography and everything, what's going on at all times, and I think that that's fucking great in these films, especially when they're going for that stylized effect. But yeah, the relay race.
Matt, I think you're going to love the opening to 6. There's a car that can flip other cars, and the way they use it with the editing and action, it is just fucking incredible.
Looking forward to it.
I'm excited for you to see that one.
So then I'll go with my quotes as well. Is It's because I love the buddy cop aspect of this, and it's just a very classic kind of back and forth, or what you would see in a lot of buddy cop films. Like, what are you checking her out for? I'm not checking her out. Yes, you were. No, I wasn't. I seen you checking her out, man. Okay, I was. Now shut up. You shut up. Don't tell me to shut up. Both you girlies, shut up. I love that whole bit because it's that bang 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 bang, like that sort of back and forth, and it's like chemistry. Like, you need good chemistry to pull off those scenes as well. Like, and they nailed it.
Yeah, I think it's, again, I kind of said it last week with Rob Cohen. I'll say the same with John Singleton. It's kind of a bummer we didn't get to see what else he would do with this franchise. I'm still bummed that he passed away. John Singleton was a very interesting director, but he really nailed that chemistry down. And like, I think that one and the incessant shots of people shifting gears are the two things that really carry on from this movie throughout the rest of the franchise. Because the first movie really set up that family really well, but it didn't get that like playfulness back and forth. That really sticks moving forward. Not so much in 3, but 3 is entirely different crew. The only really one guy from 3 stays like a part of the franchise, and then one of the other guys comes back in the later films, but only one guy really comes out of 3. So you don't get that quite the same, but once you get to 4, it comes back, and like that really playful banter sticks around. I think it really started here.
Looking at 1 and 2, and then like knowing that the third one is completely different characters and stuff like that, it almost looks like they were kind of going for what John Carpenter wanted to do with Halloween a little bit. Like the idea of like, oh, it's about different characters each time. We're not doing the same characters in these films. It's almost like an anthology.
Yeah.
Of street racing and stuff like that.
But like Season of the Witch, the more people return to 3, the more they're like, 3 actually isn't that bad.
3's actually not, like, I used to hate 3, but now 3, I'm like, okay.
It's actually a pretty decent movie. And I say this knowing full well how cool the franchise is. 3 is the coolest movie. I don't mean that as a joke, but like when you watch, it's like, that's a cool movie. Like the characters are cool.
Stylized.
It's very stylized. It's
Justin Lin doing his thing.
Yeah, like him coming off of Better Luck Tomorrow, No Luck Tomorrow.
Better Luck Tomorrow, the first movie with Han.
Yeah, him coming off of that movie and then into this, like you can see that real stylization jumping over. And if you haven't seen Better Luck Tomorrow, it's a very good movie. Highly recommend it. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we've done Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let's do a very quick round of plugs. We can say goodbye. For this show, every other show, the ATH Network, be sure to check out athpod.com, including the show I didn't mention last week, which I apologize to everyone from that show, Demon Days. Fucking love Demon Days. I get to be a bullywug every time for the intros, and it's just such a fun show to listen to. And if you've been really enjoying that Dungeon Dragon movie that came out earlier this year, like I did, because it was fucking incredible, listening to Demon Days kind of kept that high going, which is great. So watch that movie, listen to Demon Days. This is going to be my plug. Joel, what about you?
Afterthoughts is a podcast with me and Kelly where we read books and then review them. We're still neck deep in Lord of the Rings. Probably 2 towers at this point, and it's hard to being done by the time this airs here. And then Super GG Radio is a podcast where we talk about video games and all things adjacent. Do not play Redfall.
Come on, we had a good time-ish.
It was a nice chat room game.
It was. I got so bored, I ran away from everybody like every 2 seconds. And so like, where did Brian go? I'm trying to find the plot. I'm out here trying to find you guys are like looking for little things and med packs and whatnot. I'm like, fuck that. Like, you don't need them. Everything's so easy. You can just shoot it in like 1 or 2 shots. Like, let's just be done with this shit. Like, oh yeah.
I think the most damage that's happened is when I shot a barrel that exploded.
Or when I punched the lawnmower that exploded.
Yep.
Shitty fucking game.
I wrote a short story called Red Falls.
I'd rather read that than play this game. Granted, and I mean that as like a compliment to you, not as a dig, but like
your writing is so terrible, but I would rather read that.
I mean
10 times than play that game. I should go back.
Just
to that
remove the horrible writing comment because I like your writing, but yes, I'd rather read that 10 times and play that game. But what you plugging? You gonna plug your short Red Falls?
I mean, I suppose I could post it up on. Like I could go back and edit it and stick it up there. I've not done that really. Why have I not thought of doing that? Why have I not thought of putting some of my short stories that I've written up on the site?
There you go. Matt is plugging his short stories that are future coming to athpod.com.
Yeah. Why the hell not? Why not?
No one else is posting anything. It's like for a news thing every week.
Yeah, I keep trying to write so I started writing an article about nostalgia, and it's like I got a paragraph and I was like, that's pretty good. I'm like, I have nothing else to say on this matter though. It's like, thought there would be more content than that out of that idea that I had.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing some short stories in there. That'd be fun. But Ryan, what about you? What you plugging?
You can find me on the Front Row Network, where I host a show called Front Row Flashbacks, where we talk about movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, where we get real nostalgia-like and talk about movies and their impact in today's world and cinema. So yeah, you can check us out. We should be talking about Dazed to Confused. It's one of my favorites. But you can also catch me on the Front Row Network, where I do a lot of different various other things. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Very fun. All right. I know I mentioned last week that we might be taking a break, but I think we're going to be able to make it work. So next week we will have 3 Fast, 3 Furious, or the Fast and the Furious : Tokyo Drift. Really excited.
There's a colon in it?
I think there's a colon.
Lots of colons. Lots of close-ups of colons. Behind skirts.
I'm really.
I've had an endoscopy, but never a colonoscopy. So
there you go. I'm looking forward to this one. I really like it. I think the similarities between this and Season of the Witch, I think, are gonna be pretty high. We'll see.
Did someone get their head pulled off and get turned into a blood soda that's been shaken up?
You'll have to watch it.
No, but a car goes through a house.
It does go through a house. Yeah. Does that count? All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.